guys, I wanted to come on here and show you guys something that I recently made, and I had a bunch of people asking me how I made it, so I thought I'd come on here and show you. I have these dies. They are in the shape of little stand mixers. I have two different sizes. They're from KSCraft. I will link them down below. KSCraft is one of my favorite dye shops. They're always such great quality, and they come with all of these pieces. You can turn it into a shaker, and it's just so high quality. I bought mine from AliExpress, but I also think they're on Amazon, but like I said, I will link them down below. So these are the two sizes. The small one looks like it is 3 inches wide and 3 inches tall. The larger one, it is 4.25 inches wide and 4.25 inches tall. So these are the two that I made. And on this one, I actually turned it into a card, and this is what people were actually asking me how I did it, how I turned this into a card. So I thought I would do a little tutorial and show you guys how I made this card from a die, one of the die kits. So this is my first tutorial that I've ever done, I believe. So please be patient with me, and yeah. So what you will need is obviously whatever you're going to make your card with. In this case, I'm going to use the die set, and I'll show you guys at the end another one that I made recently with a different die set. But whatever die set you're going to use, pause for my dog's water break. You're going to want to get some either double-sided tape or some craft glue. This is my favorite. It's the Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. I get this on Amazon. I will also link this down below. I have some washi tape. I just have this little poker. I got this from Dollar Tree. The lid doesn't stay on, but it's got the little sharp point here. I got my scissors. I'll also link these down below. These are the, I don't remember what my dog's shaking now. I don't remember the name of them, but I will link these down below as well. You can get them on Amazon. I have my paper trimmer here, but I don't need it because I already trimmed my paper for what I needed. I just have some plain cardstock. I got some white cardstock. This is pretty, I don't know off the top of my head, I don't have the packaging with me. It is pretty thick. And then I have a colored that's a little bit thinner I'm going to use for the actual mixer. And then I have the glitter that I'll use for all the accessories on there. And the last thing is I do have a die cutter. This is the We Are Memory Keepers Evolution. I also have a Sizzix Big Shot, but for this I'm just gonna go ahead and use this one. So what we're going to do is we're gonna put everything off to the side. My dog's sitting here staring at me like I did something, and I don't know how I got water on this piece of paper, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so we're gonna start with the dies. So I'm going to make the card out of the larger size. So excuse me for the wrinkling. We're gonna set this off to the side. Okay, so whenever you get it, it does come all attached, but I did go ahead and obviously pull everything apart. So this is the part that you can kind of make, you have your base, which is going to be this white part, the shape. You have this piece right here. This is going to cut, you're going to use for the color. This right here is for the mixer part, and this also can turn the little mixer bowl into a shaker. And then you have all the little accessories for all of the knobs and things like that. So I'm gonna move all of this off to the side. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out my magic mat, and oh, I hit my light. Sorry about that. And excuse me if the camera shakes or anything like that. The setup I have is not the best. Okay, so I'm gonna take some of my white cardstock. So I like to make mine super, super thick and make it super, super sturdy. So it's actually 3 layers of the white cardstock. One of them is the actual card base itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to just trim this down because I can't feed this whole piece into my die cut machine. And I'm going to first cut one of the, oh, did I cut it too small? I did, okay. So let's see here. So we're just gonna use this piece then. Okay, so I'm gonna cut one of the outlines. So I'm eventually going to cut this piece 3 times, but 2 of those times is just going to be a basic white piece. So you'll see that. So I have this. Now that I know what size of paper I need, I can go ahead and trim this bottom part off. Okay. All right. I'm also going to go ahead and cut my silver piece to save me time and how many times I have to go through my die machine. So on the silver, I'm going to do the mixing bowl. So I've got that. I'm going to do some of the little buttons and then the knobs here as well. So I'm just gonna place them all on here. I'm gonna use some washi tape or some low tack tape. I'm just gonna hold these down so they don't shift around whenever I feed this through the die machine. And then I'm gonna take the top here. Oh, I hit the light again. Oh my goodness. All right. And we're gonna move our die machine over here into view. Let's see the best way to do this. So I'm gonna pop her open. I'm going to feed the platform through the machine and just crank it through. I always, oh my goodness, I always crank forward one way, and you could feel like whenever it gets to another die, the pressure. So once I feel that last release where it's not as hard to push through, I will go backwards just to give it an extra little cut to make sure that we went completely through whatever paper we are doing. So just crank this back. We're gonna move this over. We're gonna use it again, but I'm just gonna move it over so I can show you guys what we did. So my silver, if I pull that up, you can see that we've popped out. You've got the middle of your mixing bowl, and then you have the outline of the bowl. So if you wanted to make it a mixer, or I'm sorry, a shaker. So I'm gonna take my little pieces here that were just like the little levers and pulls and things like that. And everything pops out pretty easily. And if it doesn't, you just give it a little tug. It looks like this one didn't cut through all the way, so that's okay. We're going to use my scissors here, and I am just going to, and it's just a blunt end on this one, so I'm okay with just kind of going eyeballing. So we've got this piece here, got another little lever, this little circle, and then this square, or this rectangle, and in here it has these pieces. I'm just gonna pop those out because I don't need those. Oh. All right, so here are all the little levers and extra pieces that just came off outside of the actual bowl itself. So I'm going to set these off to the side. And then I'm going to pull this up. So here, I'm going to pull off the die from the main backing of the mixer. And all these pieces just pop out like so. And so this is the base. So I'm going to cut this one more time in whites. So I'm going to take another piece of white cardstock. I'm going to place it in the same spot, and I'm going to trim this page down. You don't have to do this. This is, like I said, I like to make mine extra thick and sturdy, so this is just an extra step for me. And then I'm going to take the other large piece of die that I have here. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm doing over here. So this piece right here, what this is going to do is it's going to cut these two pieces of color out. So you can choose whatever color you want your mixer to be. If you see, there's a little line right here. So you're going to cut a piece here and here. So I'm going to take my color that I'm going to make my mixer with. I'm going to trim my paper down so it'll be easier to fit on my mat. Place that here, and I'm going to take another piece of washi tape and just layer that here so it stays in place. So I'm going to take my top piece for my mat and bring my die cutting machine back over. We're going to pop her open. And we're going to feed through and just crank the plates through. Alright, so we're going to move the die machine. We're going to need it one more time. We're just going to move that over for now. Alright, so I'm going to take my white piece, which is, like I said, going to be my second base. And this is just going to pop out really easily. Dog is doing another water break. So I'm going to place my die off to the side because I am done. And then pop out these pieces that I don't need. So right now I have my two, of course she's shaking, I have my two base pieces here. So I'm going to set that here to the side. This is trash. And then my colored piece, this one did not cut all the way through. If you see right here, it only cut partially down the bottom. So I don't have to waste because I taped the die down. It's in the same exact spot, so it's going to cut. So I'm just going to move my die up to the top of the plate, bring the cutting machine again, and we will try this again. Take this out, move die machine over, and we are going to pull this up, and this time it did cut through both pieces. Well, mostly. Okay, that's fine. So we can move this piece over because we don't need it. This is going to be the bottom part of the colored stand mixer. I'm going to take my scissors again. You can see exactly where the line is. For some reason I didn't cut all the way through here at the top, so I'm just going to trim that down, and then I can cut that piece out myself. Just follow the guideline that it just didn't feed all the way through. Just like that. So right now we have the colored pieces of the stand mixer. We have all the little accessories over here, and we have the two base pieces here. So the last thing that we're going to do with the stand mixer before we start assembling is we're actually going to make the card base. Because if you remember, the actual card base is the shape of the mixer. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to, let's see here. So let's see if I fold this. I don't know if this is going to be enough paper. I may need to get another piece of cardstock. Yes, okay. So bear me 1 second while I grab another piece of cardstock. Okay, so I have a full piece of cardstock right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my stand mixer off to the side, and I'm just gonna fold this in half because I know for sure that this is smaller than a page completely folded in half. So we're just gonna go ahead and fold it like so. I don't have my bone folder with me, but I'll just use the back of this little pokey tool and just make a nice crisp line here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you want to take your folded paper and you want to take the side that is attached, not the opened end. The side that's attached is going to be the top because that's obviously the top of your card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my die and I'm going to put it at the very top of this card, of the page. But if you flip it over, you will see that the top lip right here, you'll see that this piece right here, that's what actually cuts into the paper. So we don't want to cut this top line. So what we're going to do is we're going to have that piece overlay, go a little bit higher than the top of the card. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to line this up, and this is where the washi tape is going to really come in handy because we definitely don't want the die to move at this point. And I'm going to move it over so it doesn't go off the side here. So I'm going to tape this down a couple of times so it doesn't move. So like I said, if you look here, I don't know how well you guys could see it. The top of the stand mixer is sticking up from the top of the card. So I am going to just put my die here on my plate. I'm going to put it at the top of the plate because like I was saying earlier, it wasn't cutting through all the way. Now this is going to be thicker because it is thick cardstock, and technically we've got 2 layers since it's folded in on itself. So this time I am going to crank the plates through multiple times to hopefully get everything to cut through. So we're going to place the plates here and just crank. Okay, so I don't know how many times that was. I wasn't counting, but hopefully it was enough. So we're gonna move the machine over. We're going to bring out our mats, take away our top one, and then dun dun dun, the moment of truth. So we're just gonna pop this washi off that was holding the die down. Oh, it's looking good. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it looks like we have a little piece that didn't cut all the way through, which is completely fine. Okay, so if you see, we have a couple pieces that didn't go all the way through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take my scissors. I could technically put this back through the die cutting machine. Actually, you know, we may do that because it is still taped and it's still in the same spot. So let's see if we can get this to go through the die cutting machine and actually completely cut through. Okay, so I'm back. So we have all of our pieces here and they're ready to assemble. So first we have our two backings. Like I said, this is just so it becomes a little bit more sturdy. You could do just one backing, but I do the two so it would be more sturdy. We have our colored pieces for our mixer. We have our bowl and all of our accessory pieces over on this side. And then this piece right here. So this is the actual card base that we're going to use. So basically, if you look at these two, they look very similar, but this one, the card base, is going to be a little bit shorter because I didn't have the die go all the way up to the top of the crease of that card, which allowed me to keep the fold. I hope that made sense. So this piece you can kind of see is a little bit tore up from the washi and all of the hand cutting I had to do, but that's okay because everything is going to go on top of the card base and you're not going to see any of that. So I'm going to place this over to the side, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull out my glue and I'm going to start assembling my mixer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and assemble my two bases. So on the back of one of them, I'm just going to go ahead and do a generous amount of glue. I'm sorry if the camera's shaking. My tripod is not very sturdy. So, got all of this. I'm sure you don't have to do this much glue, but to me, the more the better. I feel more comfortable with it. So, all the glue. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take this piece and we're going to layer it on top of the other base. And they're just gonna line up perfectly on top of each other, just making itself very thick and sturdy. Now this is a pretty quick drying glue, so this will dry within the next minute or so. So I don't have to worry about anything and I can go ahead and continue on. Now I'm going to add my colored pieces. So this is going to be my bottom piece, this is gonna be the top piece. And you kind of just center it in the middle of the base there. So we're gonna go ahead and load the top piece here with glue as well. I hope you guys, I'm in frame for you guys. I can't even tell. All right, so we're just going to place this here at the middle, kind of leave a little bit of a frame around, try to make it as even as possible. We're just gonna smooth that out, and then we're gonna do the same thing for the bottom piece of the mixer. So we're gonna load this up with some glue. And then the same thing, we're just gonna place it here in the middle of the base, try to leave an even amount of white or whatever color you use for your base around. And there is my colored mixer part. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to actually go ahead, if I wanted to, I could make this a shaker, but I don't want to. So I'm just gonna use both pieces of the bowl. I'm going to go ahead and put the frame part down just so I can know exactly where the rest of the bowl will need to go. So we're just gonna go ahead and put this down with some glue. I'm gonna go ahead and layer it a little bit on top of this little platform here and center it. We're just gonna push that down a little bit and it's gonna adhere. So this piece right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it inside here. So you just have a completely silver bowl here. Gonna, once again, glue, all the glue. And it's obviously gonna fit perfectly inside of here since that's where it was punched out of. So I'm just gonna put that piece inside, push it down a little bit. And so here is where we're at right now. Then we have our accessories over here. I don't have my tweezers in front of me, so I'm just kind of putting everything down with my hands, obviously. I'm gonna take this strip right here. It looks like it has like maybe these lines that are cut out, or maybe the different speed settings. So I'm just gonna put this across the top, maybe almost halfway up the top of the mixer. Just push that down. This piece right here looks like it's a little lever. So we're going to, and excuse my nails, guys, I am giving them a break after a really bad nail experience I had recently. So, all right, so I'm gonna take this lever and I'm just going to put it on top of the silver line that I just did and kind of angle it down a little bit. So it kind of, this is where you would pull the little lever and turn on the mixer, or you adjust the speed, however. So that's where I placed it. I'm sure that you could place it wherever you want. And then the last accessory piece is just kind of this little box or rectangle here with different cutouts. This is more decoration for me. I don't know. I have a stand mixer, but I don't think I have anything like this on the bottom of mine. So in the picture for KSCraft, she had it down here in the bottom. So we're just gonna go ahead and put it right there. So if you wanted to, you could stop right here. And this could be such a cute little topper for another card, or you could cut an eyelet in it and make it a tag or something. But this is super adorable. What I'm gonna do is, like I said, we're making a card out of this. So what we're gonna do is we're now going to adhere this piece to our card base that is cut out in the shape of our mixer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to load the back of this piece with the color and all of the dies and everything like that. We're gonna load that up with glue and we're gonna place that on top of the card. Okay, so this one I loaded with lots of glue just because it is going to be the top of my card base and I don't want it to come off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top of my card and just layer this on. Try to get it as centered as possible because they are cut out in the same exact spots. Everything should line up perfectly. We just have a little piece of extra paper and then we're just going to press it down. I'm going to use the back of my little pokey tool, just kind of smooth everything out. And that's it. So if you fold it open, everything is attached and there's your card. So simple. Oh, I said I was going to show you guys the other one that I've made recently too. So hold on, let me go grab that. Okay, I'm back. So here's our two stand mixers that I made into cards. And then the other die that I recently did, and I'll also link this die down below from AliExpress, is this men's shirt. And I also turned this into a card as well. So this would be really cute to just have as a base on a card as well, or just make it a tag where you put it on a gift. But I made so many cards. And this is so fun to play with different pattern papers, and you can, like I said, make cards out of them. And yeah, so I will go ahead and link this die down below as well. And it is just one shirt, and it comes with the accessories with the collar, the little strip here, the pocket or the pockets, and then the little cuffs for the sleeves. So these were also really fun to make. So I'll go ahead and link those down below as well. If you want a video on how I made these, let me know and I can make that. But yeah, I just wanted to share. I hope this wasn't too confusing. This is my first walkthrough tutorial that I've ever done, but I think they came out really cute. So yeah. All right, well, if there's anything else that you guys want to see from me, any other videos, please let me know, and I'll definitely try to make that happen. But all right, bye guys.